Welcome back to episode 11 of Def's Daily Dose of Dota. I'm your host, Michael, Def's Plumley, and today we're in the middle of a game between Lai Gaming and DK of the D2 CL, I think. No? Uh-oh. Might be the D2L. All these names run together for me. But more importantly, we're focusing on the jungling of Lai Gaming's Super on Enchantress, and we've seen not the jungling many of us are used to seeing, like the Enigma, or the Sand King, or the Nature's Prophet sitting in the jungle for 30 minutes, going Blink Dagger first, in addition to a Midas, in addition to Tranquil Boots. I've seen it all. But this is a little different. Enchantress has been using her smokes, in addition to her enchant ability, to create opportunities, create space in lanes, and secure, with the assistance of his allies, 3 of the Tier 1 towers for his team. We're going to hop back into the game and focus on the mid-game of today's 4D episode. When we left off, Super had just secured, as I mentioned earlier, the 3rd tower for his team, with the help of this Wraith King, who really looks like he's about to die to creeps. We'll have to... nope. He will choose to wand. Super, though, running home, seeing his Shadow Demon falling in the top lane. Doom has his work cut out for him. And it is a Medallion of Courage coming out for Enchantress. Another excellent support item. With the Urn of Shadows, as soon as it has charges, we'll be able to see 2 kinds of heals from Enchantress, in addition to a DPS increase through the armor debuff. And he's already putting it to work, getting a Satyr Tormentor, excellent HP aura, in addition to 125 damage.
Is under attack.
And just DPSing down another camp. But he'll be rotating to mid. 3 of his heroes will be joining him, and this may be that Smoke Roshan that we were talking about earlier. The Medallion has already been picked up. Death Prophet choosing to pick up that bounty and use Exorcism on this Roshan. This Satyr Tormentor being an excellent tank for Roshan. And it is scouted out by DK. But it's a little too late. Roshan, the first of the game, falling to Lai Gaming at the 17-minute mark. Enchantress just using that rank 3 70 heal per second to heal up both he and Shadow Demon. And we're seeing now another rotation coming out to the top lane. They might be going after this Ember Spirit, but instead they're just choosing to farm up the jungle. Enchantress taking a Dark Soul Trumpeter this time, and with the assistance of Doom, moving from creep camp to creep camp. Excellent teamwork here, coming out from Lai Gaming, just farming up together another camp. Now with the assistance of Wraith King, and we see the second smoke used, again, very promptly. They're moving together, now with the Dark Soul Trumpeter, Dark Troll Summoner in tow. Wow, these creep names are difficult to say sometimes. They're going to find an opening on the Invoker in mid. The Doom, in addition to the Wraith Fire Blast, enough to secure the kill. And with quite a little army of creeps at their disposal, they'll be pushing now on the Tier 2. Urn of Shadows being used on Wraith King to heal him up. But this is the 6.82 Tier 2 tower. It has 25 armor, and with the help of a Fortify, we may see Lai Gaming force back here. Skywrath Mage and Ancient Apparition. Gonna have to sit on the high ground and watch this fall, though.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
We see Wraith King porting back up to the top to continue farming. Meanwhile, Enchantress, Shadow Demon, and Doom will go back into the jungle and continue farming up their creeps. Choosing to Midas the Conqueror, and then devour the other Centaur so he can keep this pack leader aura and that critical strike buff. I love critical strike. Watch any of my other episodes. You'll see me rant and rave about it. Enchantress choosing to get that wild wing ripper again. And just continue slowly farming up the creep camps. Looking back at the levels, we can see that he's kept pretty competitive with the other supports for DK, if not pulling a little ahead with the help of his 3 assists that he's secured. Looking at the net worth, a respectable amount. As mentioned, he's already picked up his boots, the medallion to help kill Roshan and DPS the enemy team, and an Urn of Shadows to help heal. The 20-minute mark is approaching. Super, being a good jungle support, and just purchasing more wards.
Lose face.
As Faceless Void secures a kill on Wraith King, as we see all 5 members of DK swelling in the top lane, looking to push down this tower. They have a favorable ward in position for them to see rotations. Instead, they will only see a wild wing ripper at low health. And now the duo of Doom and Enchantress just continuing to farm up. A smoke coming out for DK Gaming. DK rather. They're looking for a kill here. 6 to 8. They would love to even the score here. And it may be our Enchantress caught out. With the assistance of the Ice Blast and Mystic Flare, they will secure a kill. But Doom, he stuck around. Using Doom on the Invoker. Exorcism coming out quickly, bursting down that Faceless Void. And Ember Spirit will have to be routed. Very little Enchantress could be done there for her. The death was imminent. Several heroes were in her vicinity, but her allies did manage to secure 2 kills on the back end of that, because they've been rotating together and sticking together in the jungle. Now at the 20-minute mark, we see not Enchantress jungling, but Doom. He now has a lot of damage. He can now Midas the creeps and devour. But he learned a valuable lesson there about jungling with too little HP. Super picking up the power treads.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
Just a little
attack.
bit extra survivability, a tad bit more speed. Her net worth will be staying low this game,
Radiant's
since she
bottom
has
tower
assumed a
is
support
under
role.
attack.
We see Wraith King going in on Skywrath Mage, but the concussive shot and Icy Blast will force him back. Ice Blast. At the 22-minute mark, more farming and enchanting from Super. Picking up a Hellbear Smasher. And sticking with her fellow support Shadow Demon to look to create something in the enemy jungle, where XZ has been doing some farming of his own. Doom is up now as well. Roshan is not. Another 3 minutes or so. Enchantress has yet another smoke, and it will be dispensed. The rotation coming out. They're moving into the jungle. But they will not find anyone. They know it's empty from Death Prophet farming, so instead they'll move to these extra 2 camps and will be rewarded with a quick kill on Skywrath Mage and a Doom on Ancient Apparition. He has low HP. Doom does pure damage. He's gonna die. But a cheeky denial from Ember Spirit, saving a little bit of gold. And now the duo of supports with the assistance of Doom will begin farming up DK's creep camps. The 51 last hits from Super, not the lowest, higher than our 2 roaming supports coming out for Lai Gaming, but the hero level, he's still staying competitive, and with 4 assists, he has greatly contributed to this game thus far.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
We see him roaming over to the side shop. Might want to use that courier eventually. might be watching this fight in middle. As we see
Dire's
Wraith King
top
falling,
tower is under attack.
and Skywrath Mage being
Radiant's
routed as
bottom
well.
tower is under attack.
The final Crypt Swarm will secure a kill. But Super, continuing to farm up, enchants a Dark Troll Summoner, and ports mid to help out his allies. Choosing to max out Nature's Attendant and Untouchable before Enchant. As mentioned at the beginning of our broadcast in part 1, with just one rank and Enchant, you get most of the jungling ability you need. You don't increase the duration with more ranks, you just increase the slow if you use it on enemies. Doom sitting in the jungle waiting for another 5 seconds for these creeps to respawn so he can use his Midas. He has done an excellent job farming this game. He's tops on net worth. And he may be tops on levels as well. He's close, he's tied. Enchantress. Now using her Untouchable, and not the enchant to farm up the creep waves. We see how slow they're swinging there. Also works on Roshan. Great ability. Now rotating up to protect her Shadow Demon and Wraith King. Doom accompanying as well. Using that Urn of Shadows, but not much else is needed. And Doom just goes back to farming the jungle. A gem now being purchased from Enchantress.
Illusion.
Knowing that there's a fair number of wards out somewhere on the map. Just wanting to help secure some mid-game visibility for her team.
Thank you, my beauties.
But still, sticking with her fellow support Shadow Demon, staying close to the farming hero in her jungle. Enchanting this Kobold Foreman. 12% movement speed, not to be mocked. That is about the same as a rank 2 of the Bloodlust ability for Ogre Magi. But if nothing else, he's scouting out the way there. He sees the rotation of the Invoker. He sees the Skywrath Mage. And because of that, Lai Gaming will be able to group up, stay together, and be prepared for a possible fight in the jungle. We see with both Doom and Wraith King, now with Midases, effectively farming the jungle. This game is turning out very well for Lai Gaming, though the kill count, very close. Net worth is definitely in their favor, to the tune of almost 5,000. We see a gem coming out. He's moving into this area here, just clearing out any kind of wards. And now, with the assistance of the Medallion of Courage and 3 of his allies, they will move to secure the second Roshan of the game. This Ice Blast will scout it out again, but they may not be able to get here in time. And Vizrune on the Ember Spirit means he could move in if he wishes. He knows he's not going to be sighted by any wards.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Cyclone coming in along with the EMP. Enchantress quickly falling to another Mystic Flare. Roshan falling to the Dire, but Faceless Void snatching that Aegis. And a killing spree coming out for both Death Prophet, Doom, and Faceless Void. Enchantress actually did live there. Only the Wraith King to fall. That EMP being very critical in preventing his mana needed for the reincarnation.
Radiant's bottom tower is
Now,
under attack.
just using that rank 3 Nature's Attendant, it's the rest of his mana, but it is quickly healing up a
Radiant
Shadow Demon,
structures are fortified.
a Doom, and
Radiant's
himself,
bottom tower
should another
is
Ice
under
Blast
attack.
come in. And it is off cooldown.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
And that's another tier 2 tower falling, going the way of Lai Gaming. And Super, just going back to staying with his supports. As we've noticed for the last 10-15 minutes or so, they have almost stayed within the same screen of each other the entire time. Doom, more of the same, jungling up his opponent's jungle, Enchantress grabbing a creep of her own. And then just throwing it into lane to help push. As she runs back to base, 1,000 gold, she can buy something if she wants, or just top off on the mana. This game is going swimmingly for Lai Gaming. Their second Roshan was secured, although that Aegis was snatched by Faceless Void. They do have some excellent jungle wards
Dire's middle
that are
tower
expiring.
is under attack.
Might just purchase more wards
Dire's
instead,
structures are
but
fortified.
she goes for the Ogre Club, improving her tank ability, and could be a BKB, could be an old stick though, for once she maxes out levels and gets a larger mana pool to start using that impetus.
Regeneration.
And we see a very familiar story. The two supports of our Dire squad rotating together, and as I say that, Enchantress peels off. Looking to see who she'd like to enchant. Maybe just moving out to the mid lane. And we see Wraith King pushing out this top lane. A lot of action occurring. 4 heroes rotating top. The whole team is here. But same story can be said for Lai Gaming. Wraith King being very aggressive here.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
And then it looks to be a large fight incoming at this last tier 2 tower. We see our two supports standing back, dropping in an observer ward. One of which already being placed there by DK, now being dewarded with the assistance of the range from Enchantress and that Gem of True Sight. Vision is denied for DK. They're not sure how many people are here. They see 3. They don't know how many more. Doom just standing here occupying this side path, making sure his team does not get flanked. He is the most tanky out of his team. 2200 HP at the 30-minute mark. Wraith King not too shabby himself, 1700 with a vampiric aura.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
And we saw the effect of that untouchable there. Although it was a 3-0. Invoker will fall.
I gave your death some.
And what had been going quite swimmingly with these tier 2 towers falling, a bit of a role reversal for DK. Coming together and finally getting a good wombo combo combination. We saw the Mystic Flare claiming a kill on Enchantress. We saw the Ice Blast come in.
Haste.
All during that Chronosphere. And DK, on the back of that, looking to push now. And finally secure this tier 1 tower. Maybe the tier 2 might be a little ambitious, but Doom is down for 30 seconds.
Dire's middle tower
And with both of our
has
supports for Lai Gaming back online, they continue to just occupy the mid lane together. Disruption going out on that Faceless Void. His Aegis had just expired. Quite untimely. And the two supports continuing to stay within a screen of each other. Now, Enchantress moving up into the jungle. Gonna enchant another creep and just continue farming up another camp or 2. We see Wraith King doing the same. And that Doom farming up as well. Midasine still has the critical strike of the Alpha Wolf. Probably my favorite creep to steal on Doom. Doom, great carry, but we'll save him for another 4D episode. That untouchable aura, ensuring that the DPS coming out from these creeps is very minimal. I mean, you can just see how slow they hit once that's maxed out. Also useful on Roshan, and on the Faceless Void. 120 attack speed slow. is one of the largest debuffs in the game. More than negating, for instance, Mask of Madness, which gives 100 attack speed. Enchantress, now at the top of the 34-minute mark, will pick up another Centaur Conqueror. And when you're ahead, get more ahead. Continuing to stay grouped together, this is probably another smoke. It is. And our heroes will move out together, looking to capitalize on potentially a Roshan or a hero farming in their own jungle. DK had very similar thinking, but their smoke will be rewarded only with an empty jungle and a lane that's not quite pushed out to this tier 2 tower. Likewise, Death Prophet pushing out the bottom lane. Lai Gaming using this opportunity, no smoke goes wasted, to place a ward on the high ground. Wraith King waiting on this high ground for an opportunity. Moving down. They're moving together. But the Blink Dagger will not be rewarded with a kill.
Never refuse gold, get it?
We now see Mystic Flare coming out in addition to an Ice Blast, claiming a quick kill, but Doom coming in himself, BKBing out. Invoker having to be forced back, and our Enchantress just using the impetus, quickly finding himself caught out of position with a cold feet, will fall again.
Your chronology ends.
And the pursuit continues. Shadow Demon falling as well now without his heal being available. Will fall. The Gem of True Sight dropped by Enchantress will be dropped by Shadow Demon. And what's that? This might be a 4-for-0. Teleportation coming out, but it will not be enough to save the Wraith King. Death Prophet almost falling there herself. Enchantress, not much she could have done there. When the counterattack came, she was a little bit caught out of position, and she is still a support. Will fall to the carries who have multiple levels on her. We'll see how she improves in the next fight. Just running out and quickly running to the jungle. But Invoker may have caught on. Orchid coming out. Excellent disruption. That is why your supports stay together. However, Super may still fall. He's juking around the trees, using his nature's attendants.
As was promised.
And he will fall. But, in return, Faceless Void dies as well. So the death becoming a pretty good trade. As I did just mention. Level 17 for level 11, not bad. Death Prophet did have to use her exorcism though. Coming to the pit to see if she can utilize it. She'll have to wait another minute or two. Ancient Apparition having a similar thought. And who
Dire's top
has the
tower
gem
is
now?
under attack.
That gem is back to the DK side.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
Enchantress doesn't have money to purchase another gem. We'll see if she wants to pick up another one. Instead, we see just more smoke coming out. That looks to be the larger portion of an Assault Cuirass for XDD. And once again, two supports within a screen of each other. Protecting their carry. Knowing that the jungle, not exactly safe anymore. Wondering about Roshan. Enchantress might be making her way now down there. We see this ward scouting out our heroes. Death Prophet having to be forced back. 2 Fire Remnants being thrown into Roshan for good measure. That will be the next point of contention. But Enchantress knowing The opposing team is in their own jungle, moves into her jungle, just continuing to farm up. Doesn't want to fall too far behind on levels relative to the other supports at least. She does have a rank 2 impetus up to 20% distance damage. Delicious, delicious pure damage is the more important thing though. If she's able to position herself well in these fights, she could add a great deal of supporting damage from a hero who you might normally think is just a debuff, and a healing hero. 728 wards placed. This isn't her first time supporting. But we see just more farming up from our two teams. The kill count very close. This game is within grasp of both teams. This Hellbear scouting out Roshan though. It's going to be the third Roshan and will be the next point of contention. Enchantress continuing to farm up her jungle. Doom quickly coming to join her. And an Assault Cuirass coming out on our Wraith King. An excellent armor debuff stacked with Medallion of Courage. Could make Roshan fall very quickly. But it's going to be the tier 2 bottom tower coming out next as a point of contention. We see CTY scouting around on this evoker for a flank. And they're going to slowly be sieging out the tower. Or will they? They seem a little apprehensive. Instead, saying, perhaps we've created enough space to get this Roshan instead. But who's that? In the Roshan pit. It's an Enchantress creep. So instead they're going to have to be forced back. Ember Spirit coming to farm up this lane that's been pushed out to the tier 3 tower. And our heroes from Lai Gaming all staying grouped up together. Enchantress has bought more smokes, more dusts. And this may be a smoke gank, it may be a Roshan. It looks like it's going to be a gank attempt. Death Prophet leading the way. They're going to be looping around, presumably into the jungle. They didn't want to walk up this high ground. They're going to see this camp empty. And they're going to be prepared for a fight. Enchantress, second in tow. We're going to slow this down. We see a blink in. That's a Wraith Fire Blast that didn't quite queue in time. Instead, a bit of a counter initiation coming out from Ember Spirit. And our heroes of Lai Gaming will be repelled. Death Prophet debating going in on that Ancient Apparition. Wraith King will. He has the gem. He does get the Wraith Fire Blast. Shiva's Guard going off. Where's our Enchantress? He's staying in the back. He wants to avoid the Chronosphere. He successfully does. He'll be moving in. What does he choose to do?
My sprites are with us.
Immediately queuing up his heal. And getting an impetus off on our Faceless Void. And as the fight progresses, we see both the Faceless Void fall and the Ember Spirit. That's pure damage, Ember. I don't know what you think you're doing. He will fall as well. And as we kick back into normal speed, we see an Enchantress who stayed out of danger, stayed behind the main crux of the fight, which was that Chronosphere on the Doom. The Wraith King initiating their 2 strength heroes. The supports, rightly so, sitting in back. And they'll be rewarded with not a 1-for-0, a 4-for-1 rather. And they may choose to push Roshan on the back of that.
For the treasury.
And they will. They have a healing aura. They have a Nature's Attendant heal. And now they have 4 heroes with Ice Blast, but they know, judging by the size of that, Ancient Apparition is far away, and it's just 2 heroes up, ensuring that none of their heroes fall below that 10% threshold. It'll be the 3rd Roshan of the game. Don't forget to pick up your prizes, gentlemen. That's going to be a cheese on Wraith King. And they wait for the Death Prophet to pick up the Aegis.
Immortality
That's 3 fights that are being able to at least fall Roshan's hands into Lai Gaming. I don't know what I'm talking about. All I know is this Super's going back to base. He has 1,300 gold. He has a gem of true sight. The dust's still on his hero. And even though Death Prophet fell in that fight, or fell rather, he's still able to secure the Aegis. And it's the 43-minute mark. On the back of that third Roshan, we are going to take a break. Clearly I need to get some more water, work out. What hasn't been a very hectic game in terms of announcing. We've seen a lot of farming, a lot of jungling by both our Enchantress and our Doom. We see the 2 strength heroes in that last fight proving very key to be on the front with our Enchantress and Shadow Demon in the back doing what they should, support. We'll be back after this relaxing music break with more of 4D Def's Daily Dose of Dota.